Hey guys, Jamie here from Red Duchess Farm. Um, this is going out mostly to the fellow lady homesteaders. Um, I guess it could go for the guys too. There are some that aren't as handy dandy as others. So what I did yesterday was I got tired of crap not working, is what it boiled down to. And I needed a leaf blower to do a bunch of stuff around here. So I had these two leaf blowers, and they are big old monster four-cycle Troy-Bilt. Love the four-cycle. You don't have to mess with mixing gas. They run longer, and they take the abuse that I give them. So what was happening is I kept getting told, it's a carburetor problem. It's a carburetor problem. Let me see if I can switch this around here. And with this one, I'm going to say yes, it was a carburetor. It is a carburetor problem. Probably needs some rings in there or something. It's puking out oil at the same time as trying to prime. So what I did, I'm going to show you guys how to fix something. I'm not going to tear it all apart again because I've already got it back together and it works well. But ladies, if your stuff is broke, I hear so many people say, oh, my leaf blower's broke or my weed eater's broke. I can't get it fixed till my husband gets home. No, that don't fly with me. You know, if it's broke, what's going to happen? Are you going to break it? You know, I also hear this, well, if you have to take it in to get it fixed, then they're going to charge you more. They're going to charge you out the butt no matter what anyway, so you might as well figure out how to fix it. Common sense. These aren't real technical. So what was happening with this blower is it would fire off, die, fire off, die. It was like it wasn't getting enough fuel. So I proceed to start really looking at it. Well, the carburetor issue, let me tell you what it is. See this? That was a fuel line. Look at this. I mean, it's just, they disintegrate, okay? I'd found that there were some cracks in these. Well, then when I really got to looking, well, the part down in the gas, because of this lovely ethanol gas we have, it had just broken off. They were just crumbling inside the tank. So I noticed that it was throwing out oil and pulled out the old one that just looks like crap. I mean, they're the same age. It's just one of them looks a lot worse. You knew what we did with these things. So anyway, I thought, okay, that one has no fuel lines. But you know what? I shot a little bit of starting fluid in there, and she fired off. We're one step ahead as we were on the other one. So yesterday, what I proceeded to do, because the primer bulb right here on this one was broke. Let's see if you can see that. These are not the easiest things to get a hold of. Most time you take them to Real King, you take them this and that, and you don't get the right one the first time, blah, blah, blah. But the primer bulb on that one was good, okay? So this carburetor was not puking out oil. That one was. So when you have two things that are broke, take one of them and fix them and make one of them work, is all I got to say. So what I proceeded to do yesterday, ladies, is your primer bulb goes right here. This is what this little assembly looks like, okay? And it sits right in here. Four little holes, you can't miss them. And you screw those in, your fuel line hooks onto them. So if your primer bulb's bad, fuel lines, whatever, you got to switch it up. Just unscrew those four screws, pop it off. Sometimes what happens is just the primer bulb itself comes off. Well, there's a little diaphragm in here. This little diaphragm has to be good, okay? Which this one is. Bulb shot, good diaphragm. However, I wanted to take an entire piece that I knew that worked off of that one. So this is the one that came off the, shall we say, the old weed eater, or old blower. I got to fix weed eaters. They're on my brain now. Okay? So I just popped those out. They all go together like so. Took that off. Came over here, unhooked all my lines, reassembled it right here. Okay? Next thing, let's replace fuel lines because they're shot, they're cracked, they're going to suck air, they're not going to work. So all I did is I went to the hardware store. Well, first of all, I have to say, this is something you need to do. When you've got this open, sorry, my bad. When you've got it off, try not to lose those screws because I might need them at some point. You see all the little divots and stuff in there, okay? Take a brush and clean all those out because you're going to find that unless it's a new assembly, they're going to have white or orange crap in there that's going to clog up all your stuff. That's from today's gasoline, okay? You got to clean this stuff out. So I cleaned it out, and this thing has crude oil on it. You can tell where we've had it. And reassembled it right here, okay? Popped my little air breather off and got the little foam filter back in there. And around here on this backside, if you can see it, I hope so with the lighting, I replaced fuel lines, okay? These guys here are the new ones. They've got to go far enough down inside your tank to suck and the gas. One of them is a primer, one of them is your gas feed. On the end of the primer, there's like a little plunger looking thing. Now, one of mine had that, one of them did not. That has air, you can push air through that. You should be able to. What that does is kind of filters as it's prime, it gives it the suck. So anyway, I replaced these lines. This line, but it's a little bit more resistant to the gas that we have. So I reassembled them. You always watch where you take your stuff off. You reassemble them, stick them back down in the hole, fill that bad boy up with gas, take your breather off, or your cover off, which is right like so, okay? Flip your choke, I gotta see it. Open it up, spray some starting fluid in there, shut it, prime it, and on these it says 10 times, and fire it off. So basically what I did yesterday for $1.58, I got a Troy-Bilt 4-cycle blower working again, and it runs like a top. Now, the other one I'm going to tear the carburetor off of. I have a feeling that I have like a seal in there because it is sucking oil. And like with your ATVs and stuff, if you get rings that go bad on it or something, it sucks the oil into the gas, which is exactly what that's doing, sucking it up in there to the carburetor too much. So I'm going to tear it apart. I will have to buy me a new plunger. We'll have to find that one. And it shouldn't really take that much to get it going. So I could have just gone in there and said, oh, the heck with it. It's the carburetor. Paid $100 for a new carburetor, stuck it on there, when all it was $1.58, a bunch of cleaning, and replacing a piece that I already had that needed to be replaced. I'm going to show you a little clip. It is working. So ladies, really, and guys out there that aren't very handy, don't be afraid of your equipment. I fix stuff all the time. Now, the old Coyote tractor out here, got on it to do some bush hogging the other day, and I had no steering, none. I called Mark up, and I'm like, thanks for leaving me a tractor that's broken. And he says, it wasn't broken when I parked it. I said, well, it is now. It has nothing, no steering. Well, I fixed it too. However, all it took was 4 days of walking by it, calling it bad names, cussing it, kicking the tire. And for some reason this morning when I walked back out there, she runs just fine. I don't know. So, not saying that yelling at your equipment and cussing at it all the time is going to be what fixes it. But I'm lucky right now because the bush hog is running and all the rest of our equipment right now for mowing is down. I've been 3 weeks trying to get the last mowing of the season done. So, but the blower is running. My push weed whacker weed eater sitting over here. Carburetor was messed up on it. It's done this before. Once again, watch how you take things apart. I pulled it all apart and all it needed was cleaned. Even though I had done it over the course of the winter to get it ready for spring, any gas that's in that carburetor and in that bowl is going to cause white, clumpy, crappy stuff. Took it all out, cleaned the stuff down in there to clean. That's the other thing I did, and I'm trying to find where I put my tool. Is when you've got that open, you're going to see this little tiny hole, and it's like where the needle valve, and it's got to be able to suck up through there. I use the gauge or the tip cleaners for our cutting torches. You'll find one that'll fit in that hole. It's the same thing you got to do on any little carburetor that's got that hole. Just get you some little tip cleaners and clean that hole out because that stuff just blocks that up. That's all that's wrong with it. That weed eater, I got it, tore it apart. Within about 3 hours, I had it cleaned up, made sure nothing was in the gas, went back through. She fired right off. Runs better than it has for quite a long time. But about twice a year, I have to tear the carburetor off and I have to clean that stuff out because these things were not made for ethanol gas. Plain and simple. So anyway, this is just to show you, ladies, that you don't need to wait for your husband. You don't need to wait for your boyfriend. Just tear into it. What are you going to do? You're going to tear up something that doesn't work already? I either had the choice of buying a new carburetor, which I would have been out. If I hadn't fixed it, that's where I would have been if I'd have torn it up further. But don't be afraid of this stuff. If you stop and think about how it works, it's actually very simple to work on. So there's your tip for a really quick cleaning of your leaf blower and getting it working. And don't be afraid to jump in. Just grab it and go, because a lot of times, me being here by myself, if I didn't just jump into stuff and fix it, it wouldn't get done because Mark doesn't have time when he does make it home. So you don't need that guy or that repairman or whatever to fix a lot of your stuff. Don't be afraid of it. Just do it. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please tap down there and maybe subscribe to our channel, like, and please leave me some comments. I like to read the comments, and I try to answer all of them that I can. So have a good day. I'm going back on the tractor to run my leaf blower some more because I think it rocks. So I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching from Red Duchess Farm.